Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. The failures of LeBron James upon entering the NBA was just classic, right? The failures in the meltdowns, in the choke jobs, wow. And a lot of people, the LeBron fans will say, oh, Michael Jordan lost. He lost to the Pistons. He lost to the Celtics. Well, I'll tell you this. Michael Jordan, at these times, was not supposed to win. Was not supposed to win. That's the difference. Michael Jordan was not supposed to win. He was supposed to be a great player and not melt down upon great opponents in the challenges, and he never did. That's what the LeBron fans don't understand. We never heard nothing like this in our lives until Nick Wright starts saying Michael Jordan was 1-9 without Pippen and couldn't win without Pippen. So, before we get into this, so if that's the case, why was Michael Jordan so famous? I don't understand. Why was Michael Jordan so famous? He was famous for losing? That's where the NBA was at that point? You're telling me Michael Jordan came into the league and lost what? Against the Bucks? 2 times against the Celtics. That's 3 times. Swept them twice in those series against the Celtics. And then the next year he finally did get a win against the Cavs. So before he got his first win without Pippen, what was he famous for? What was all the hoopla? Why was this guy getting his own shoe? Why was he so famous? If now they saying he couldn't win without Pippen. Well, Michael Jordan was on the sorriest team in the league and was still going out like an OG. Okay? And still making the playoffs. And a lot of these, he was under 500 when he made the playoffs. Okay? What does that mean? It means it was less teams in the league. And when it's less teams, now you got to play the better teams more often. So Michael Jordan was famous for being relentless and never backing down in defeat. He didn't have an all-star teammate like LeBron had his second season, Ilgauskas. Wasn't no all-star teammate before Jordan on the Bulls before Jordan entered the NBA, like Ilgauskas was before LeBron entered the NBA the year before in LeBron's second season. It'll tell you how weak that era really was. People just don't understand how weak that era was in the NBA when LeBron came into the league, that East. Not the first 2 years he was in there. That was respectable. The first 2 years LeBron was in the NBA was respectable. And you can see that. God couldn't even make the playoffs. Even with the all-star teammate his second season. Nobody, forget about that. Jordan didn't have an all-star teammate until 1990. And guess what? That season, they almost beat the Pistons. Took them to Game 7. Next season, 91, swept the Pistons, and Jordan didn't even have an all-star teammate. You remember, like we done schooled you fools, that if Dominique Wilkins and Larry Bird never would have got hurt, Pippen would have not even made an all-star until maybe like 96. I'm being dead ass. Charles Barkley, Dominique Wilkins, Larry Bird. Who else was that other guy? I can't remember the other forward in the East. I can't remember his name. But Scottie Pippen would never made an all-star team until 96. Now, I can say that's if Charles Barkley would have stayed. That's if Charles Barkley would have stayed in the East. That's why, Pippen got kicked off the all-star team the next season in 91 because Larry Bird was back on it. So let's look at the chosen one. Oh yeah, let me continue before we get back into this. Like I was saying, that East was respectable when LeBron came in the first 2 seasons. That's why he didn't make the playoffs. Okay, 2004, 2005. Of course, they changed the defensive rules, and he could just start bull charging the lane and get dunks and layups, right? So now he makes the playoffs, and he has the Detroit Pistons on the rope, 3-2, going to his crib, where he choked in games 5 and 6. Go look at the percentages. The field goal percentages, the free throw percentages, and the 3-point percentages. And I want to say, this guy, his stint in Cleveland, it's just mind-boggling how many 3-point shots he was attempting at sub 35% each year. It was amazing. And like I try to tell people before, this is why nobody could ever coach this idiot, especially when he got into the playoffs in the NBA Finals, 07 and all through this guy chucking up so many threes because he's a horrible mid-range shooter, but not even a good 3-point shooter. And he lost a lot of these games because he's chucking up all these threes. Wasn't even a respectable 3-point shooter at maybe like 35%. And he was chucking up, 4 to 7 a game back then. Making the playoffs in 05-06 and choking that lead down to the almighty Detroit Pistons, right? That year he lost, because guess what? He took them to game 7. A guy who never even been to the playoffs with no jump shot. Ultimately, they lost. And the next year, they would play the Pistons again without Ben Wallace. Now he could just charge the lane. Get a running head start from the 3-point line and charge the lane, because it's a no-touch error now. And they beat the Pistons thanks to Booby Gibson coming through in that big game, not LeBron James. So we know what this guy did in the finals. And it continued to be the same through the rest of the early 2000s, choking and pooping his pants. So let's look at this, because only Michael Jordan's career, the beginning, counts. But you can't speak to any time he choked. Choked is when you were supposed to win. Michael Jordan wasn't supposed to win none of those series that he lost. That's the thing. Those guys had 3 to 5 Hall of Fame teammates, on one team when he was playing early on. So LeBron came into the league as a chosen one, the king. Wow, the kid calls himself the king. King of what? He was just playing like academy school, high school boys. 99.9% of them will never see the NBA in high school. And he's calling himself the king? Wow, that's crazy. Maybe if he played college, maybe. First 2 seasons watching the playoffs. First 2 NBA finals, lost to Duncan and Dirk. 2 meltdowns and 1 choke job. A choke job is when you're supposed to win. You're supposed to win against Duncan. Dirk. First 2 international games. Bronze medal. Epic choke and meltdown. Yes, you were supposed to win those. You lost to international plumbers. And that's why they're taking over the league today. Because of LeBron James. No plumbers were confident enough to know that they could come to the NBA in the 90s and take over NBA. They couldn't take over the NBA. But because of LeBron's, they can do that. Do you see a pattern here? Losing the international players in the finals and in the international games. This is LeBron James. First 2 number 1 seeds in the playoffs. Lost to Dwight Howard and to Paul Pierce. These teams were number 3 and number 4 seeds, and LeBron choked and melted down against these teams. And like I said, the conspiracy is out that LeBron James might have done this on purpose so he didn't have to play Kobe Bryant, because if he played Kobe Bryant and lost, it would be no LeBron James GOAT debate or fake GOAT debate to this day. They lost to a number 4 seed, which was the Celtics, and LeBron had the number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. Let's don't forget the year that LeBron lost to the Magic beat that old mighty Boston super team in the playoffs. That's what Orlando did. Orlando beat the almighty Boston team in the playoffs in 2009. So now LeBron can lie and act like this mighty Boston team that couldn't even get an MVP in 2 years, that LeBron had the number 1 overall seed because LeBron had the MVP. That team, the Celtics, didn't even have an MVP winner. Wow. But yeah, we know with common sense, he did not want to play Kobe. He didn't want to play Kobe. Imagine that. That would be under Kobe's belt, beating LeBron in the finals 2 years in a row. LeBron didn't want that smoke, bro. He wasn't supposed to lose to Orlando. If I'm not mistaken, he lost both of them games to Orlando 4-2. If I'm not mistaken, Kobe won both of his Western Conference Finals 4-2. So I think he was peeking over there looking. Never confuse ultimate winners with losers who win sometimes. No. Don't confuse ultimate winners with losers who win, sometimes. With losers. With losers who win something. So, look. This is what it is, man. This is the LeBron James career that they don't talk about. This is your GOAT. I've never seen no other player doing this stuff in their first 2 times in these things. Not Duncan, not Jordan, not Kareem, not Magic, not Bird. Only LeBron did these things. So, tell me what you think.